Hey, my friends, I'm glad you could join me today. Hey, I'm just taking a look at a book by another author that's very similar to David Walliams. It's Roald Dahl. This is the book called Boy. Now, one of the great things about that, you might notice the illustrations look very familiar. Well, the person who does the illustrations for Roald Dahl was Quentin Blake, who also does some of the illustrations for the David Walliams books. Now, I know sometimes you might go to the library and they don't have a new David Walliams book or they're all checked out. Roald Dahl also has quite the collection in our library, so stop by, ask Mrs. B if you can get a Roald Dahl book. But we know why you're here, right? Yes, we do know why you're here, because you are here for the two next thrilling chapters of David Walliams' Ice Monster. Chapters 65 and 66. Let's get started. Chapter 65, Hard Rain. The old soldiers and the young sailors all worked together to untangle the mammoth from the net. As soon as the captain of the HMS Argonaut had hauled two of the sailors out of the North Sea, he stepped on board the HMS Victory to help. "I'm so sorry this has happened," said the captain. Elsie put her hands over the wound on Woolly's chest to stop the flow of blood. "Why did you shoot her?" she cried. "Why?" There was no answer. "Somebody do something," she begged. Dottie put her ear to the mammoth's mouth. "I can't hear her breathing. I'm so sorry, Elsie. I know you loved her, and she loved you. But this is the end of the story." "No!" yelled Elsie. Boom! Thunder rolled across the sea. Ahead, black clouds were swirling. A storm was coming. "Sail into the storm," ordered Elsie. The Admiral looked aghast. "No, it would be the end of us all." "It's the only way we can save her." "By sailing into a storm?" demanded the Admiral. "We used lightning to restart her heart before. Maybe we can do it again." Dottie rushed over to where Elsie was trying to stop the flow of blood. "Let me take over," she said. The lady pushed the end of her mop right into the wound, and the flow of blood slowed. "We can tow you into the storm," offered the captain of the Argonaut. "No," replied the Admiral. "It's too dangerous. You young sailors have got your whole lives ahead of you." He turned to the pensioners. "Men, are you all with me?" "Yes, sir," came the reply. "Good luck," said the captain, and he and the Admiral saluted each other. "We will make sure Queen Victoria is told all about your bravery." The captain led his men back on board the Argonaut as the Admiral called out his orders. "Set course for the storm." The men went to work, and soon HMS Victory was flying into the darkness ahead. "Elsie?" began Dottie. "Do you know what you're doing? We don't have a balloon or metal wire or anything." "I know," the girl choked, fighting back a river of tears, "but there must be a way." Her eyes searched the deck of the Victory. At the bow, she spotted something. "See that metal chain, Titch?" "Yes," replied the old soldier. "That's for dropping the anchor." "Put the anchor right next to Woolly's heart, and then pass me the end of the chain." "Right-ho!" Titch scuttled over to the bow, and with the help of his fellow pensioners, he dragged the anchor and chain over to where the mammoth was lying. Elsie took the end of the chain and wrapped it around her waist, and she placed a cutlass between her teeth like a pirate, and with her monkey feet she began climbing the rigging. "Where do you think you're going?" asked Dottie. "The crow's nest, of course," replied Elsie, her speech hard to understand thanks to the cutlass in her mouth. As the ship crashed up and down on the angry waves, thrump, 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 Elsie climbed up and up and up. Once at the top, she clambered into the crow's nest and looked straight ahead into the storm. "Come on," she whispered to the sky. "Give me everything you've got." All the way up there at the tallest point of the Victory, the rolling of the ship in the waves became exaggerated. Elsie found herself holding on for dear life. She looked down to see the Admiral at the wheel, holding on tightly so the waves didn't hurl him into the sea. Hard rain was flying into the girl's eyes. It was a struggle to keep them open. Soon she was soaked to the skin. The wind wound around her, and the clouds skimmed her hair. "Straight ahead, Admiral," she ordered. "Aye, aye, Captain Elsie," he called back up. Boom! Thunder rumbled across the black sky. "Come on, lightning," the girl whispered. "I know you're in there somewhere." As if on cue, a flash of lightning illuminated the sky. Crazzle! "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" called up Dottie. "No, this is madness. Good madness or bad madness?" "Good, I hope." Elsie lifted the cutlass high into the air, but the lightning... "Elsie, it could kill you," shouted Dottie. "If it does, promise me you'll look after Wooly for me. Make sure he gets to the North Pole, please." "Don't do this." "Why?" "I love you, Elsie. You're like a grandma to me." "I think you mean granddaughter, Dottie, and I love you too. But I have to save my friend. Promise you'll look after her." "Oh, I promise." A bolt of lightning hit the front sail, and it burst into flames. Boom! "Fire on board!" shouted the Admiral, as his men struggled to put it out. "Nearly," whispered Elsie, and she stretched her arm out as high as it would go and closed her eyes. "Come on," she shouted. A bolt of lightning struck the tip of the cutlass. "Ah!" cried Elsie, as the electricity sizzled through her. Chapter 66. A Watery Grave. The bolt of lightning passed through the girl and shot down the metal chain. The anchor had been pushed against the lifeless creature's chest, and now it delivered a thump of electricity to Wooly's heart. Boom! Elsie slumped to her knees at the highest point of the ship, and the mammoth's legs twitched. One eye opened, then another. "She's alive!" shouted Dottie. "Do you hear me, Elsie? Elsie?" As thunder and lightning boomed around them, Dottie and Titch looked up to the crow's nest. "No!" screamed Dottie when she saw the girl slumped over the side, lifeless. "You look after Wooly," cried Titch as he began climbing up the rigging. The boat was now swinging wildly from side to side, and the higher he scrambled, the more he felt he was going to be tossed into a watery grave. Eventually he reached the crow's nest. Elsie was now lying motionless on the floor. "Elsie? Elsie?" he cried, but there was no response. Titch scooped her up in his arms and put her over his shoulders. Then he made a hazardous climb down the rigging and laid her out on the deck of the ship. Elsie's face was blackened, and despite the rain, her hair and clothes were smoking. It seemed like the electricity bolt, which had given the mammoth life, had taken the life away from the girl. On seeing her friend laid out like this, Wooly scrambled over to her. First the mammoth tried to rock her friend awake with her foot. "Hoo!" Elsie just flopped from side to side. Next she licked the girl's face with her tongue. "Hoo!" A white streak appeared on her skin. Dottie burst into a flood of tears and held Elsie's lifeless body close to hers. "No, no, please!" Titch put his arms around her. "I think she's left us." All right, my friends. That does it for the sad 2 chapters of 65 and 66. Now, on that somber note, we still don't know what happens because we've got to finish the story. We're getting there. We still got more to read. But now, remember, we practice in front of everybody, answering by restating the question. We do it as a class. So really, there's no excuse not to be able to do a complete sentence and to restate the question when you do it. It's already done for you by writing the question, which we've done for you. So, now, are you ready? All right. You will be answering each and every question with complete sentences. So you know what you're supposed to do. So there shouldn't be any question on what you're supposed to do, because you all know we do it every day. We practice it every day. Your writing's getting better, but you need to do it every time. All right, best of luck. Make sure you click submit. Check out in our school library, see if you can possibly find another David Walliams book. If not, there's always Roald Dahl, who is very similar. Have a great day, guys.